Hello, it's Andrew speaking, and I gotta say, it's just so easy to get distracted when you're talking about your love for the country. I look up and there's the sunflowers, right? And it's just such an easy thing to get lost in the news of the day or the next big thing that's coming and what everybody's riled about. And I gotta tell you, it's just such a good feeling to take this walk to the backyard, unlock the shed every morning, open it up, and work in the yard. Gotta kick my brick to hold the door. Gotta come beside and pick a tomato. Okay. And let's go sit somewhere in the yard. Get some greens later. Get a nice breeze going through We the North. How about Anishinaabe? The First Nations flag is trying to fly. Canada, trapped behind the satellite dish. Okay. See some flowers, see some bugs, see some innovation, and see some kid fun stuff. Let's sit down and talk. Okay, I'm back. I'm in my home element. I'm allowing the Dharma to flow through me. And here I am in my yard. I'm going to try my best to communicate my environmental policy ideas. The reason I'm running in the first place. The reason I came to tell everybody around the world, Canadians especially, that we can grow gardens, grow our own food, biodiversify the environment, and all these wonderful things to live in harmony with the natural world. I'm going to start telling all of those. And we're going to do it right here, right now. Okay? Where 2 videos ago I launched policy idea number 1, being diplomatic with the United States, and in particular Mr. Trump and his successes. Policy idea number 2 is being diplomatic with, yes, you guessed it, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. And I'm going to be diplomatic in offering my solution, how to fix the carbon tax you implemented.
We must take action, and we must do it now, with a mature and honest conversation about carbon pricing. You know Canada needs to have a price on carbon. So as a federal government, we will set in place a national standard, and we will provide targeted funding, targeted federal funding, to provinces and territories to help them achieve their goals.
Okay, first thing I have to point out to Mr. Trudeau and indeed all Canadians is that a price on carbon will in no way, shape, or form replace the millions and millions and millions upon millions of acres of trees and actual real carbon that have been wildfired over the last 2 years. Look at the captions at the bottom of these clips, and you try to fathom how large of a landmass these numbers represent.
We also have to talk about this because we've been talking about how epic this season has been, right? 3.9 million acres burned. Just to give you perspective, our previous record of acreage burn was 1.8.
The current fire alone has scorched 8,000 square miles in Siberia, which is twice the size of the Dixie Fire in California.
An unprecedented burn of a massive magnitude. We could be losing, in certain areas, as much as 3 soccer fields of jungle every single minute.
But you think it's right to get into the Canadian taxpayer's wallet once again, huh? We absolutely needed to create some national tax to hit everybody at the pumps, and once again, and so what? That somehow represents a fraction of the carbon that's been put into the atmosphere over the past decade, over the past century? Give me a break, okay? There's better ways for us to spend our money, more impactful ways than some tax that allows you, some other slush fund, to do what you want in the realm of carbon, okay? I gotta go back to the classroom for this one and teach not only you, Mr. Trudeau, but all Canadians how the federal government is going to incentivize us to save the world. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Mr. Andrews' class, where I'm always trying to save the world. Now we won't need the map today, so let's move this along, because I'd like to talk about the Canadian carbon tax and what exactly Mr. Justin Trudeau has put upon the nation in the last couple years. Okay, it started out with it altruistic enough, have industrial polluters pay for the price of carbon. But then it was also tacked onto your home heating bills, and then it was also tacked onto the fuel pumps, which we pay every time we fill up the tank. And Mr. Trudeau had the bright idea to, try to get industry innovating. So if you say that we've done some sort of innovation, Mr. Trudeau's going to get 90% of their payments back to industry. As well, he's going to keep 100% of all the citizens have paid, and he's going to spend it in the jurisdiction of his choice. Mr. Trudeau, this carbon tax plan sounds a lot like a carbon tax scam. And if I were to channel my fake profession as a teacher, I would have to give you a failing grade, F, for this tax plan, okay? This does not help the environment or the economy in the least. Not only that, I'm going to have to discipline you for disrespecting and bullying Monsieur Polyev and
Honorable member for Carleton. He's talking about the billions he's going to spend, which is precisely what we predicted. They are collecting this tax so that they can spend it how they choose. In fact, just in Ontario alone, they admit they will collect $1.4 billion more in taxes than they will give out in rebates to individuals and families. That money, that difference, is the net tax grab on Canadians, especially suburban commuters, soccer moms, and average ordinary families. Isn't that yet more proof that this is just another Liberal tax grab?
Right, Honourable Prime Minister. I'm afraid that you have to channel my former profession of a teacher when I point out that if the member opposite spent as much time trying to worm around and confuse everyone with our plan and spent it more on developing his own plan to fight climate change, we'd all be better off and he would have something more intelligent to say. Mr. Speaker, we are fighting climate change.
he was just making a good, valid point, and you ran out of things to say, so you started to attack his character and bully. That's not right. That's not acceptable in this country, mister. You better have something good to say or don't say it at all. And furthermore, I can't believe you had dragged worms into it, as if what worms do is somehow sneaky or to be afraid of or fearful of. Get that garbage out of here, Mr. Trudeau. F. Now, let's talk about the real thing, the real solution. Let's bring Mr. Andrews' plan into it with the whiteboard. The first thing I would do is stop the industry subsidy. Get that 90% out of there. The next thing I would do is take the citizen subsidy back to the citizens. And how would we do that? We would incentivize carbon sequestration. I want to incentivize people all across Canada to plant trees, to grow gardens, bring the carbon out of the atmosphere. And there's simple ways we can do this. I want the CRA to offer a one-time rebate on eligible expenses for gardening and supplies and rain barrels and wood and things like that. Even at the nurseries, let's pay for plants and trees and things and help people reestablish gardens instead of grass. Okay? This will help with carbon sequestration. This is what a carbon tax is good for. The other thing I want to do is create an ongoing subsidy where instead of the federal government paying to the jurisdiction of its choice in a provincial sense, I want these funds to go to a municipality. And in particular, I want there to be some sort of verification program where the homeowner, the condo person, the farmer, anybody can take a before and after photo showing their municipality that they have in fact implemented a garden, in which case you will receive somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 to 10% rebate on your property taxes. This is how we incentivize people to bring their properties up to an ecological good standing and help biodiversify the world. How we can bring back natural species, how we can bring carbon out of the atmosphere, and how everybody can start growing their own food and eating healthy. We incentivize people to grow gardens, and that's going to save the world.
And Maharaji said, well, feed everybody. And then he says, well, I don't know. What about, what's the best way to find God? And Maharaji says, serve everybody.